Hello, New Covenant Community Church. We're going to continue on in Psalm 7 with part 2. We looked at 1 through 8 previously, and in verse 8, if you recall, it talked about how the Lord judges the people. So he's judging people. So judging the peoples. And then here in 7:9, he's going to continue that by crying out against those evil people that he is going to judge, or all people. And we also have to understand this idea of judgment doesn't necessarily, we can hear the word judge, and it just means that God is going to decide a dispute, or that God is going to declare either righteous or innocent. So we hear the word judge, and we often automatically think of a negative connotation or term, like, oh, they're going to, like be judged. Well, we're all going to be judged one day. Some of us are going to be judged and seen as innocent because we're covered with the blood of Christ, not that we're innocent of ourselves, but because of Christ's righteousness on us. And then others are going to be judged and enter into judgment. So he's going to judge the people. He's the one who's going to show whether someone is righteous or unrighteous. And so verse 9, oh, let the evil of the wicked come to an end. So when you judge, right, bring to an end the evil of the wicked, and may you establish the righteous. So in your judgment, show the wicked to be wicked and the righteous to be righteous. You who test the minds and the hearts, O righteous God. God, and it's in David's narrative, who's writing the psalm, it talks about how God is the one who sees the heart, and he doesn't look as man looks on the outside, but God sees the heart. And here David is kind of appealing to that same thing. It's God who knows who is wicked. It's God who knows who is righteous. It's God who tests the minds and the hearts. And it's God who's ultimately righteous, and so the righteous one knows the righteous. And then David is going to cry out with some theological realities about who God is here. He is, my shield is with God. So my shield, what does he mean by that? Well, he's using just an image. What does a shield do? It protects, right? So God is, my protection is with God, who saves the upright, right? So if we're thinking upright, the righteous, those are kind of synonymous terms. And then it's going to describe who God is again. God is a righteous judge. So, oh, righteous God, right? He's the righteous God. In verse 9, he's the righteous judge, and a God who feels indignation every day. God is angry with the wicked, right? So the wicked, he is not okay with wickedness. If a man does not repent, God will whet his sword. So this idea of whetting a sword is so basically sharpen his sword. God's preparing his sword for battle. He has bent and readied his bow. So he's got his bow in shooting position. He's got his sword in fighting shape, right? So we could say this is as we talked about a couple of Psalms ago, and we see this actually throughout. We've got a series of bicolons here, tricolon here, and you've got some parallelism going on as well. He has prepared for him his deadly weapons. What are his deadly weapons? Well, his sword and his bow here. Of course, this is all speaking symbolically, right? God doesn't need a sword. He doesn't need a bow. But that's how we think about things. He's making his arrows fiery shafts, right? So we know when we watch, one of those epic kind of battles in a movie, whether it be Lord of the Rings or another movie like Gladiator or Braveheart, when they light those arrows on fire and shoot them, right? We know that, oh, look at that. They're even lighting the arrows on fire. There's something more ominous about that. And that's just the way that he's picturing God. Behold, the wicked man conceives evil and is pregnant. So notice the conceives, is pregnant, gives birth. You've got this progression of idea that's going on here. The wicked man conceives evil and is pregnant with mischief and gives birth to lies. And so evil, mischief, lies. Just a very vivid image of who the wicked are. He makes a pit, digging it out, and falls into the hole that he has made. Sounds a lot like Proverbs 1, right, where it's talking about how they lie in wait for their own blood. They've basically set a trap for themselves, these people who are basically in a gang, and they're doing wicked things. The wicked, they're digging their own graves, and they're falling into those pits that they have made. Like Wile E. Coyote, right? He always falls for his own mischief. His mischief returns upon his own head. Again, it's just saying the same thing from verse 15. And on his own skull, right? So again, repetition of idea, head, skull. His violence descends. It's going to come down on him. And notice, I mean, you've got descending language here. So it's going to descend on him. If you remember earlier in the psalm, God was told, David pleaded to God for God to arise in verse 6 and awake. So descending, rising, a little bit of opposite ideas there. And then verse 17, I will give to the Lord the thanks due his righteousness. So look, this is the third time in just a couple of verses that he's referred to God as righteous. Righteous, right? He's the righteous judge, O righteous God. And I will sing praise to the name of the Lord, the Most High. And if you remember, it says that this is the song which David sang concerning the words that were coming out of Cush. Here, David says, I'm going to sing to the Most High, the one who's in control. So whatever is going on in your life, we need to understand that God is the righteous and just judge, that he is always going to do what is right. As David said, or as Abraham said, when he's pleading for Sodom and Gomorrah, he says, will not the judge of all the earth do what is right? And he does, and he will. And so he will mete out justice because he is just and he is righteous. And that should give us comfort today.